It's the NFL on EA Sports, and all eyes are on Javonte Williams. He had a great week to build off of last time out, reaching triple digits and adding 2 touchdowns. It's the Broncos and the Commanders, all that and more, coming up next.
We've had a driving rainstorm make its way through the plains, and it definitely is going to be a factor here this afternoon at Empower Field at Mile High in Denver. Today, after a topsy-turvy opening weekend, it's on to week 2, and we've got a good one here, as it'll be the Washington Commanders taking on the Denver Broncos. And hello again, everyone. Brandon Gaudin alongside Charles Davis. And, Charles, we look at this Bronco team. They've been buoyed by getting 2 home games right at the start, and they come off a good victory in week 1.
And how about that defense last week? They pitched a shutout, and it's really more like a no-hitter because they absolutely dominated that game from the opening whistle.
But meanwhile, for the visiting Commanders, they were losers their last time out. They're going to try to get back in the win column, but obviously they're going to have to do that in a hostile environment.
And sometimes that actually works to your advantage. Now you've got to band together your team, the us against the world mentality. Let's see if they can use it and get a victory.
And they will elect to not bring this one out as our first drive will begin at the 25. The Commanders' offense set to go to work, and they're led by the veteran who's bounced around a bit in season number 8 now. It's Jacoby Brissett.
Okay, I thought there was something to build on in last week's game by his performance. I thought he played fairly well overall. The numbers won't knock your socks off. 2 touchdown passes and an interception. The bottom line, though, they lost.
Yeah.
How does he eliminate that 1 interception, continue to take care of the ball, and maybe increase the number of times he puts the ball in the end zone with the receiver?
And they work this well upfield across the 45. The end result, 21 yards.
Certainly no settling into the drive there. They came right out on the first play and attacked the middle of the field for a big gainer and a first down.
Now the second-year man from Alabama, it's Brian Robinson. And a good job of just fighting through 1 tackle there to pick up about 3. Second down coming up. The numbers in last week's ball game for Robinson. 18 carries, 72 yards.
They put a lot of effort into game playing and establishing this ground game last week, and reward was a nice day rushing the ball. Helped them put a balanced offense out on the field. And that carry is an indicator that this will
be brought down by the Broncos. It's a sack. Multiple players combined for their team's first sack of the game.
And they're picking up right where they left off with the shutout that they pitched last week. A huge part of that, this pass rush. They know how to get after people.
Offensively, good luck finding some answers right now. Third and 19. Here's Brissett. And this is going to be incomplete.
1 first down here, and that's all, folks. Good work by this defense to hold things in check and force a punting situation.
Tress Way on 4th down is sent out to punt. Only 2 punts for him last week in the loss as he gets this one away. Here's Smith to return it. There he goes, right side. And all the way home for the Broncos score. Covered a lot of ground there, 81 yards on the punt return. And the Broncos will jump on top with the game's first score here this afternoon. They get the stop defensively, force the punt, they score without their offense even stepping on the field.
I remember playing on special teams and teasing the guys on offense like, look, you don't even worry about it. You guys just hang out over there. We'll bring this one all the way back and get the points we need. In this case, they actually got that done.
A good hold in these wet conditions. The point after is up and good, and that makes the score 7-0. So after surrendering the punt return for a score, let's see what they can do in turn on this kickoff. And no thought to bring this one out. He'll just go down to a knee, and they'll take over at the 25. Now Washington going to retake the field for drive number 2. And their second attempt here, the first drive, stalled, and they punted.
Time to break some things out, I think, in the playbook. Now that they've gotten out there, getting settled a little bit, let's see if they open things up. Maybe try to get the ball in the hands of the guys and get the ball to the end zone. They're playmakers.
Would like that. On to stop that time, it was Josie Jewell. They had the run for no gain. Now they'll try again from the 25 on 2nd and 10. Again, it's Robinson. And he'll be upended at the 28-yard line. Just a 3-yard gain there. But you look at this Bronco defense, currently number 1 in the NFL against the run.
And that's a ranking that feels good, right? To be number 1 and be the top of your profession. But here's the problem. It's only week 1.
1 week, yeah.
Can they do it 15?
In trouble, and he's taken down. Dropped for a loss of 7 by multiple defenders.
But Brandon, sometimes I think when we watch games, we're actually watching a living museum because we're seeing the evolution of positions almost with each passing game. How about defensive ends nowadays and the way that they can run almost all the way across the field?
It is unbelievable, isn't it? I mean, they're so strong, but they're so lean. They can move so quick with those bodies.
It's almost unfair. You're supposed to be able to know where a defensive end is supposed to be on every play. These guys flash so quickly, you're not sure where they're going to end up.
Well, the Broncos offense gets set to go to work, and at the helm in his second season wearing orange and blue, Russell Wilson.
And similar to his nickname, Russell Wilson has a dangerous mix of skills, the ability to throw from the pocket and extend plays and throw on the run. Not to mention an absolute winner. Usually has his team in the playoffs competing for Super Bowl opportunities.
Now the third-year man back and healthy. It's Javonte Williams. And some solid footwork there as he'll take this down to about the 38. The Bronco first down there, 12 yards on the play. He was solid last week, over 100 yards in their victory on the ground. They want to get that going again.
Absolutely. What they also understand is that from week to week, it's not necessarily the same, but they want it to be, right? What they saw last week on the ground, they want to see in this game as well.
After 7-0 on EA Sports. Second quarter about to begin from Denver. It's the Broncos in possession of the football as they've got it with a 1st and 10. A give to Williams, running right. That's some strong running there as he's down just shy of the 20 on the edge of the red zone. 17 yards for the Broncos there as they've got themselves a 1st down. Couple of very nice carries to start this drive out.
Yeah, 2 first downs. And how about that second one? What a nice run on that particular play. I'm telling you, they're going to start to think that this game is easy if they continue to rip off yardage like this.
They'll throw on 1st down with Wilson. Javonte Williams, touchdown Broncos. Javonte Williams, his 3rd touchdown now on the year. And the Broncos have taken a 2-touchdown lead now. Heck of a start to his season. He had 2 touchdowns in the opener last week, another one here in week 2.
Well, I don't want to call him a touchdown machine this early, but sometimes you get locked in, and you feel good about things. You get into that zone, and those touchdowns come in bunches. He may be off to that kind of a start.
It's like he was shot out of a cannon. I would imagine success this early, great momentum going forward for the rest of the year.
He keeps this up, they'll soon be chanting MVP anytime he touches the ball.
Extra point by Moore, up and good. And that'll make the score 14-0. Following the touchdown, here's Moore to kick it away. And he won't return this one. He'll go down to a knee, and they'll start at the 25. Washington ready to try again on offense. And this not an easy situation. You're down early, in the elements, you're on the road, How do you get the mojo back?
Well, one thing is to remember that as an offensive player, you have a much better idea of what you're trying to accomplish and where you're trying to go than the defender. So in this case, because you know it, you can make your cuts with a little more decisiveness, maybe a second fake, some double moves, things of that nature, to go ahead and try and put some pressure on the defense.
Brissett's throw complete to Dotson. He's brought down at the 34. Call it a gain of 4.
In today's football, where receivers break tackles, make people miss, get upfield for the extra yardage, when you see a play like that where it's caught and he's dropped on the spot, that's a big-time play by the defense.
First catch for the Washington leader in receiving yards a year ago. Good for a first down.
When you're struggling on offense, you're looking for anything possible to get you going. Sometimes you do it like basketball teams that don't normally press. You put a press on, bring people to life, make them move a little bit quicker. Maybe that'll help them as they head towards the half.
On 1st and 10, Brissett. And the Broncos get there and take him down. Josie Jewell, the linebacker, getting the sack. Well, last game he had 2 sacks. Got another one here, picked up right where he left off.
Brandon, he spent the entire offseason working on new moves, new techniques, trying to add to his arsenal of pass rush moves. Certainly paying dividends of what we've seen so far.
Sacks, a growing theme in this first half. This is 2nd and long. Here's Brissett. Middle of the field, it's Robinson. And able to break one tackle, but then quickly brought down for a nice little gain. Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. That escapes the sack. And a big loss here as he's taken down. The defense rising to the challenge and setting it back on the sand.
I know I'm supposed to do the analysis here, but I've got to ask, how did he stay alive that long in the pocket?
Yeah, great footwork, which we know he has. If he would have been able to stay alive, get rid of the ball, or run for some yardage, he would have had a very unhappy defensive coordinator, I believe.
No doubt about that.
Now the former Oklahoma Sooner Tress Way on to punt the football. He's been a busy man here in this first half as he gets it away. That's returnable now for Smith. We call that a punt of 38 yards officially. And the Broncos take over. 1st down and 10. The Broncos going to get one more possession in this first half. And with time quickly fading here in the 2nd quarter, not sure how aggressively, offensively they want to play this.
I think we'll find out just how much they trust their guys in this situation if they decide to take a shot.
And he's going to get this down to the 35-yard line. Now the Broncos are going to call the first of their timeouts as the clock will stop with 18 seconds to go in the first half.
First and 10 at the 35-yard line.
Play action. It's Wilson. Outright, this one goes to Patrick. Now the Broncos going to use the 2nd of their timeouts. So that means they're down to 1 remaining here as we head toward halftime. So not quite a 1st and goal. It's 1st and 10 from the 10. Here's Wilson. And this is caught for a Bronco touchdown. Russell Wilson with 2 first-half touchdown passes. And the Broncos will extend their lead here just before halftime. Well, this offensive unit, yeah, they were solid in the opening week victory, and now they are looking just as sharp here in week 2.
And that's exactly what you want, too, because you want to get better each and every week and really ramp up as the season goes on. I know it's still early in the season and a lot can happen, but this offense, they look like they're going to be fun to watch each and every time out.
Extra point by Marr, up and good. And that makes the score 21-0. So not much time to work with here. 9 seconds remain in the half as this one is away. And he'll take it up past the 25 to the 26-yard line.
Washington will take over 1st and 10 at their own 26-yard line.
And with time running short here, they'll simply take a knee, and that should do it for half number 1. So we reach halftime in what's been a fairly one-sided game so far. As we send you on out to our studios in Orlando, here's Jonathan Coachman at REA Sports Halftime Report.
Okay, Brandon, we'll get back to you and Charles in a bit, but first it's time for a trip around the NFL.
Sorry, Coach, put a pin in that. We are going to move right on to the third quarter here. And we welcome you back now. Alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin, getting set for quarter number 3 here. Forecast calling for more of the same. The rain set to continue as we are underway in the second half. The lane opens here. He's past the 30. Tremont Smith. And they are not going to catch him. He's in. Touchdown, Broncos. So how about the game he's having? He had the punt return earlier for a touchdown. Now the kick return to balance things out.
And oftentimes, guys who are on punt return and kickoff return, many of them are the same guys. And they're devoted to a return guy who can break big plays. And when that happens and they know it's there, they're going to block that much harder and be that much more skillful, as well as utilizing his talents. And this is what you get. Punt return, kick return, a huge game.
Extra point by Moore, up and good. And that makes the score 28-0. So now the other return teams out there as they'll try to duplicate what they just saw. And we will not see an attempt to match that return touchdown, as this will be a touchback and bring it out to the 25. First possession of the second half now for Washington. A CD, they certainly know the hole that they face as they begin the second half. They have to do what precious few teams have done in NFL history, and that's try to come back from a 4-possession deficit.
And partner, you know, as that team gathers, they're saying to each other, you never say never, right? Because if you're on an NFL roster, that's how you have to think. You can always come back and win a ball game. And let's face it, we saw a certain Super Bowl, a 25-point lead late, that wasn't enough to put someone away. But that being said, this task is near impossible. Let's face it. And bottom line is, it officially becomes impossible if this possession is an empty one.
Second catch for him today, and it'll wind up a first down. They'll run this one right with Robinson. And a 5-yard gain gets him to the 42. Well, this defense, they've got the 4-score advantage, and you can see why they continue to bottle up the run game, and really they've just been sharp in all facets here in this one, CD.
Yeah, they've kept that offense in check the entire game, and I think it's been led by what you just talked about, that defensive front, which has not allowed them to run the football and establish control of the line of scrimmage.
And not much there at all. Maybe a yard up to the 43. 3rd and 3.
Third down.
From the shotgun, it's Brissett. Well, had his hands on it, couldn't bring it in. Pretty symptomatic of how this game's been going.
And you can tell just by looking at him that this offense is a frustrated unit. Things are really unraveling here, and as a head coach, time to earn your paycheck. You've got to find a way to keep it together, as that brings up another 4th down.
And now the punter, Tress Way, as he sends this one away. Yeah, he was looking for the checkup bounce, didn't get it. That scoots all the way into the end zone now for a touchback. So here are the Broncos to take over on offense. They were winners last week, defeating the Raiders, and right now they're in the driver's seat here as they start off 1st and 10. They start the drive on the ground. It's Williams. And he's got some space. And now off to the races down the right side. And they're going to get this beyond the 40 before he's taken down. 51 yards rushing for him now on just his first 3 carries.
That's what we were hoping to see out of Williams last season before a torn ACL 4 weeks in ruined expectations that he could join the top tier of NFL running backs. That type of upside remains, though, and Denver certainly prepared to help him unlock it as he returns to full strength.
They stick to the ground game on first down. It's Williams. And he's going to take this ahead for right around 3 yards, but no more than that. Second down.
It went right back to him, but he pretty much had nowhere to go on that play.
Now, the previous carry looked pretty good. That one, maybe he was a little tired. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe he should have tapped out and had a second back come in and maybe make that run. Who knows?
Delay of game, offense.
So they accept the penalty, of course, and push the offense backwards a bit.
Still second down.
Following the penalty, it's Williams. And they'll get to him after a gain of 7 to the 47.
That's a gain of 7. Brings up 3rd and 5.
And as they come to the line, they will not be able to get off another play as time has run out on this 3rd quarter. We'll return with more after this. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. Welcome back now to Denver. A lot of happy faces in the crowd at this point as their guys have a big lead here to start quarter number 4. On 3rd down, here's Williams. And some solid footwork there as he'll take this down to about the 38. It'll be a pickup of 16 and a Bronco first down.
Brandon, when a defense just simply can't get off the field on 3rd down, we all know how important that down is for both sides of the ball. You often feel like you're just a step behind whatever they're doing offensively.
And one of the differences in this game, no doubt, 3rd down conversion, and that is going to be a story they'll talk about after this one. Now a first down carry. It's Williams. Oh, some strong running. But he's free going down the left side. It's a foot race. And all the way home for Broncos score. Javonte Williams, his 3rd rushing touchdown of the year. And the Broncos are on their way to a 2-0 start. I tell you what, Charles, I know that you don't put a ton of stock into power rankings and things of that nature, but another score here, and 2 weeks into the season, this is maybe the most impressive team in the NFL. Would you agree?
Well, they've certainly sold me as they've sold you, and I agree with you, no question about it. They won easily last week. They're on their way to another lopsided victory here. They're definitely a team to be reckoned with, and they are serving notice to the rest of the league.
Extra point by Marr, up and good. And that makes this 35-0 now. Following the touchdown, here's Marr to kick it away. And able to take it past the 25 and up to the 28-yard line. Out comes Washington's offense as they get set to take over here. Well, it's been a struggle so far for this offense, Charles. It's not only that they haven't been able to put the points up, but really stringing yards together has been a real issue for them in this one.
I'm so glad you brought up the yardage because I was thinking to myself, we've seen a lot of NFL games and we've seen our share of lopsided contests, but in almost all of them, both offenses have put up at least 200 yards in a game, but not in this one. This has been a display of offense that, frankly, I think the two of us have watched from behind our hands, trying to spread our fingers wide enough to actually see the result.
Here's 2nd and 10. Brissett now. Sets up the screen to Robinson. And he's going to be down at the 35. Gain of 7.
That's a nice design there, but sometimes, though, you get so many blockers out ahead of you, they kind of slow you down and force you to adjust. You always appreciate guys trying to help you, but maybe one less there could have turned this into a bigger gain.
Now the throw on 3rd down, knocked away and incomplete.
At this point in the game, they've got to continue to try anything they can. They're still working at it, even though this one feels like a lost cause.
Here's Tressway now, as he's on for the 5th time here today. He'll send this one into the mile-high air, and it's a good one. Fielded at the 20. Great blocking on the return. It springs him for 25. And they will take over 1st and 10. You don't see that too often, Charles. He punted that away and then hustled up to make the stop as well.
Yeah, because oftentimes they serve as their own safety after punting it. You want to be the last guy, but he decided to get involved in the action, didn't he? And what a spark that's got to provide for the rest of his team when they see their punter out there making a nice hit.
Wilson and the Broncos now with a 1st and 10 at the 45. They'll try and run down some clock with Williams. To about the 48-yard line.
Brandon, I've got to think this offensive line has got some smiles on its faces. And I know it sounds crazy, but they practiced for this back in training camp. They knew they'd be in situations where it'd be extra defenders in the box coming after them, trying to keep them from locking down a game. Right now, they want to show the world they're up to the challenge.
From the 48-yard line, here's a 2nd and 7. They run it again with Williams. And he'll get it down here to the 43. 126 yards on the ground for him now on 9 carries. And carries like that, that's how they're going to continue to salt this thing away here, Charles, in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, how about that? A new set of downs. Clock continues to move. No better way to close out a game than to tap those mastodons you have up front and say, guys, keep pounding them. Let's keep the ball, keep their offense on the sidelines, and let's close this one out.
Now a 10th carry. Here's Williams. The 20. Now he's into the clear again. And they're going to score again. Yet another touchdown as they just add to their totals. Looking like they're well on their way to a 2-0 start. All smiles right now on that sideline, isn't it?
As well there should be. It's hard to win a game in the NFL. We hear it all the time. We know that it's difficult. But guess who's smiling? But inside is thinking 24-hour rule because we're going to have to play again next week.
Boss man.
Oh, without a doubt. The head coach, he wants them to feel good, but at the same time, find a way to keep improving.
Oh, I was just about to say he had missed an extra point all season, but there it is. His first miss, no good. So with the missed PAT in his rearview mirror, he goes back out to kick this one off. And a good return as he'll be stopped just shy of the 30-yard line. Here comes the Commanders' offense back onto the field. I hate to say it, but at this point, I don't really know that they're playing to win with this deficit in the 4th quarter. They're just trying to erase that 0 on the scoreboard, Charles, and get some type of momentum to carry into the film session tomorrow.
If you get any type of points on the board, it'll count as a moral victory, although no one will talk about that in the post-game press conference. That's not something you mention in the NFL. And this loss, it already stings and will for a while. but everyone on that offense knows it'll sting a lot worse if they don't put some points up on the board.
Nowhere to go here. He lost the football. And one of the linebackers has got it. And fantastic field position has them just outside the 10 at the 11-yard line in the red zone.
As they say, this game hasn't exactly been one for the books. I mean, we're into the fourth quarter here, and now this happens, another turnover. Not one that they're going to hold up and say, yeah, this has been a banner day.
Absolutely. Still sitting on 0. And coming out now, the Broncos. Well, they don't really need the points here, Charles, given what we're looking at on the scoreboard, but they've scored on 3 consecutive possessions, 3 consecutive drives, and I'm sure that they would like to keep that streak going here and continuing to pour it on.
And things have gotten that way in the NFL, haven't they, partner? Because in the old days, people would have, they'd get off the gas a little bit, right? But now, people continue to accelerate. But we'll see what they decide to do as they come out for this one. But the way this game has gone, they've got to be awfully happy with their execution overall.
Williams going to get it again on second down. And he will get into the end zone. It's another touchdown. This thing is ugly. Well, my goodness, how about this start to a season? I mean, it doesn't get much better. 2 touchdowns, remember, last week in the opener. 3 more here. This is some kind of pace to put yourself on.
Are we going to go ahead and look ahead and say 4 next week? Is that too much to ask for? That's what he's dreaming about right now. That's what his team's thinking about. But, boy, what a start for him.
Wilson and the Broncos offense going to stay on the field. They'll go for 2. They'll look to throw. And this is going to be caught. So add 2 more to the lead as they continue to pour it on here in the 4th.
Personally, I'd rather see him kick the extra point there than to go for 2, but it almost feels like there's a story within the story here. I mean, this isn't college. Size of victory, that matters in those games. Here, all you have to do is win by 1 point. That's all that you need. Instead, they go for it, get 2. You got some pretty ticked off folks on the other sideline now.
Following the touchdown, here's Marr to kick it away. And he'll elect not to return this one, so they'll bring it out to the 25 on the touchback. The Washington offense set to take over. At this point, partner, things looking pretty bleak. They still haven't scored here in the 4th quarter, facing the big deficit. What silver linings, what can they look to do here offensively?
It's funny, I talked about this with a coach in the offseason and kind of had this scenario, like what feels good to you and what feels good to your team. You're down big. You really have like 1 possession left, and you try to put points on the board that don't matter. But do they? And he told me they actually do matter. And in this situation, he's going to try and run the best offense he can run to have at least a little bit of confidence to take away from that game. So right now, they're going to try their best to get something up on the board and not get shut out.
Another throw on second down, and this one incomplete as well.
This has been a rough one, to put it mildly, for him. And after this one's done, you just feel like at the post-game press conference, this team's going to have a lot of questions and definitely not a lot of answers.
He'll be brought down by the Broncos. It's a sack. Alex Singleton making the play defensively.
Pardon my vocabulary isn't that great, but to me, there's only one word that fits this front 7 today, and that's dominant. 4 and 5 sacks is already rare in one game. Getting to more than 6 in one contest while winning by this many points, an absolutely astounding effort by every player involved.
Here's Tressway now as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. Taken right around the 44. 8 yards on the return following a punt of 41. And control of the football switching hands here with very little time remaining in this contest. Three tight ends in the ball game here on 1st and 10. Oh, Wilson going to throw. Oh, he'll air this one deep for Judy. And it's knocked away and incomplete.
Well, I think it's pretty evident that any blowout isn't going to be big enough for them. They're already up 7 full touchdowns, and it's still not stopping them from throwing it deep downfield, taking their shots, trying to add more points.
They go play action now. Wilson. Oh, he'll air this one deep for Judy. That's going to be knocked away and incomplete.
Zone coverage there, and they were playing deep. That makes it obviously a little bit harder to run by guys. And that time, there was not much of a window to get the ball in there, and it winds up incomplete.
Off the play fake, here's Wilson. This is caught inside the 15. And he gets this one inside the 15, just a yard or two shy of the 10.
And Charles, when you look at the stat sheet, you realize that both sides of the ball were so dominant in this game. And on offense, not only did they score it, but they did it through the air as well as on the ground. Everything was working.
And you know that the guys who scored the touchdowns, who contributed